The Whispering Woods. The town of Pine Hollow awoke each morning shrouded in mist, a veil that clung low across the hills like a secret too heavy to lift. Just beyond the southern edge of town the woods began, dense, ancient, and unnervingly still. For as long as anyone could remember, the townsfolk called it the Whispering Woods, though no one could agree on why. Some claimed they'd heard voices when the wind blew through the trees. Others swore it was just the rustle of leaves or the calls of birds echoing through the branches. But the name stuck, passed from one generation to the next like a quiet warning. That morning Clara Vance stood at the edge of those woods, her boots sinking slightly into the damp earth. She had lived in Pine Hollow for most of her 32 years, and though she had often walked the forest trails as a girl, she hadn't set foot in them since the day her older brother Matthew disappeared 20 years ago. No body had ever been found. No clear answers given. Only a torn jacket near the brook and a note hastily scribbled with the words, "Don't trust the quiet." Clara never believed Matthew had run away, no matter what the police concluded. He was careful, smart, and too loyal to leave their mother without a word. For years she'd kept the idea tucked away, like a thorn under the skin. Now, with the recent death of their mother, and the sudden appearance of a box among her belongings, an old tin marked with her brother's initials, Clara felt that familiar prick of unease. The tin held only a compass, a brittle page from an old book, and a photograph torn down the middle. In the photo, Matthew stood beside someone who had been cut out entirely. What unnerved her most, though, was the other item in the box, a map of the Whispering Woods, drawn in pencil, the paths and clearings labeled in her brother's small, angular handwriting. One spot on the map had been circled in red ink. No name, no description, just a small symbol beside it, a spiral. Clara tucked the map into her coat pocket and adjusted her scarf. The sun was just beginning to rise, casting a pale gold shimmer on the dew-covered leaves. Pine Hollow lay quiet behind her, and ahead the woods loomed like a cathedral of shadows. She stepped forward. The air inside the forest was different, cooler, and somehow weighted. Though it was morning, the canopy filtered most of the light, giving the place a hushed, twilight feel. Clara moved slowly, following the trail on the map. Twigs snapped underfoot, and every rustle of branches made her glance up. She kept her hand on the compass, feeling the worn metal press against her fingers. She passed a moss-covered bench that hadn't been there before, or at least she didn't remember it. The wood was cracked, its edges carved with initials long faded by weather and time. For a brief moment she sat, listening. The stillness was absolute, broken only by the occasional.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?